For the record, those Commissioner Sanchez and Commissioner Martinez. Absent is Commissioner, excused is Commissioner Francis Santos and Commissioner Inchalco, who will try to join us on GoToMeeting. But, you know, we're not sure. He's traveling, so we have a couple of balls moving around. Anyway, we have no public comment. Okay. And do we have minutes?
Yes.
Minutes to approve. We have 2 minutes tonight. The July 23rd, April 26th, and July 23rd meeting. 2023. This is an old one.
Yes, sir.
We finally got it finished. This, I think. Okay. Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of Wednesday, April 26, 2023, as shown in our board books and the agenda.
Okay. Second. Any further discussion? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimous. And there's a second meeting. Commissioner Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of the CCU regular board meeting of Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024 at 5:30.
Tuesday, July 23rd.
2024.
July 2024, right? Okay, second? Okay, any further discussion? None? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries with 3 votes, I'm sorry. Okay, next order of business is GPA. You're up. John, you want to go straight to the resolutions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we may, thank you, good evening. First, for tonight, I have actually 4 out of 5 resolutions.
Okay.
On the table, FY 2024 has 88, we're not ready for that one.
Okay.
Starting with resolution 2024, that's 26. Again, due to non-financing savings utilization. As we all look at this, it's working towards finding ways to finance and to fund the power plant. Of course, we could be financing the bonds. The 2012 bonds was refinanced at $10 billion reduction in debt service. 2015 was then. In 2014, this is what the refinancing of another 400,000. So really, as the initial intention was asking the commission to lower it and put this money in towards the payment of the Ukudu Power Plant.
Yeah, because you have other stuff, right, John, like the
That's-
pipelines and stuff that you're paying for.
So this
Okay.
is just part of a series of cost reductions that will occur to cease paying the power plant.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Sanchez.
John, these are the kinds of things that, you know, are reasons the base rate hasn't changed on the GPA side for many, many years, right? We're taking the savings that cash flow for debt service that arises from this refinancing, and we're putting it back basically into what otherwise would require base rates to pay for, but now that we have some savings, we can use these savings for these needs. Yeah?
Okay. Is there a motion? Commissioner Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve GPA Resolution FY 24-26 relative to bond financing savings utilization.
Okay, second. Second. Any further questions? We discussed this in the work session, so. Okay, ready for the vote? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries with 3 aye votes.
Thank you, Mr.
Next.
Chair. Next, resolution FY 2024-2027, and this is relative to approval for the purchase of generators for the water wells, water booster pumps, sewer pumps, tracing and treatment plants. The Commission may recall GPA did come to the CCU and BUC and receive approval for $10 million to put in investing in about 103 generators, because most of these generators, of course, were put in 1992, over 30-some years old. So that investment was, that resolution was approved, and this is the first of 3 bids. No? This bid is actually for 60 of the 125 to 300 kilowatt generators totaling 3,006,527,448. to the lowest bidder. And again, this is again part of the total package of 103. So your resolution tonight again allows us to proceed from your approval, with your approval to the PUC for the approval. On another note, we're also awarding, concurrent with this, another 29 generators total of 30 to 60 kilowatt sizes. And the total for that one is 751,000. And because it's within the authority of 1 million, I could go ahead and proceed without having to go through the
Are those
process.
also for water well generators or
Yes,
for?
all of this is
For water wells.
water wells, wastewater treatment, and wastewater lift stations, and all of that. So again, now there's a total of about 3.7 million that are being invested in these generators. The last one, again, are the bigger ones, which there's a 500 to 1400. And that one will take care of the large, what they call,
Waste lift station, wastewater lift station.
yeah, the what wastewater, what's it, what
It's
you
a lift
do,
station.
like Manahano, booster pump stations, sewage pump stations, no? And the treatment plant, the 1.2 megawatts are for the treatment plants. So again, that process is not ready yet for work, but this is the total package of 10 million, and we're actually coming below that. So I ask your approval for this resolution 2024-27.
Okay, is there a motion?
Oh, I move that resolution FY 2024-27 relative to approval of the purchase of waste WSD generators.
Second.
Okay.
Quick question, Mr.
Sure,
Chairman.
go ahead.
John, I'm like Commissioner Martinez. WSD stands for,
Water system DC.
okay,
That's the team in Gpwa that handles it.
but these are the generators that we've been using for supporting the water and wastewater system during typhoons, right? The backup generators, right?
Over 30-some years, plus a combination of what GW has put in over the years. So there's a total of about 240, 250 total. No? So this is like about half of the replacement process. So
This is paid for by a separate line item on the bill, right? For GPA.
yeah, somewhat, and because that's really not dedicated to that, but it helps pay for,
Oh, it's not?
for all of this.
Oh, okay. No, I
But
thought
it's-
it was.
But you're correct.
Oh, so I'm
Because
like
I
the
was always
chairman,
under-
yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, that's what I see on my bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not restricted. I mean, the reason it's not restricted is because there was a percentage that was asked for the rate increase, no? And instead of putting all of that, they put in a line item to help cover it. So,
Okay,
Again,
I don't know.
But no
As long
base,
as-
this doesn't impact the base rate, or we have, this is from existing rates and
so part
cash
of
flow.
the.
As long as your CFO and your lawyer are fine with it, John, I'm
Yep.
fine with it.
Yep.
Make sure they're fine.
Oh, they're fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Just one question, John. So the generators, including trailers, those are mounted already on the trailers?
Yes, part of it are portable. When you see portable or mobile, that could be moved around. And again, that could be moved around, for various reasons. The others are to be installed in replacement of the ones that are there.
Okay? Okay. Did we vote?
Not yet, sir.
We didn't vote yet.
No, we were just
Okay,
asking.
All those, any more discussion? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries with 3 aye votes.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
John, how long does it take you to land all of these? And when would they be installed? I'm sorry, I should have asked that earlier. I mean, 3 to 6 months, or 1 year, 2?
The larger ones are probably a year and a half.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Chalco, can you hear us?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I voted yes on that.
Okay. You voted aye on the last resolution, sir?
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. We'll note your vote. on this resolution 2024-29.
29?
No,
27. 27, I'm sorry, 27.
And did you vote on 26, Commissioner Lim Taka? Do you want us to record that?
No, Commissioner, I was not present for that, for the call of the vote on that one.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
thank you. No problem. We'll put, so that's actually 4 votes, 3 in the room and 1 from Commissioner Chalco on resolution 2024-27. Okay. Next, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution 2024-2029 related to approval of Phase 4 Renewable Energy Acquisition Award, and more particularly to Kepco, EWB, Samsung, C&T Consortium, and Cortec for up to 192 megawatts of renewable energy. We've gone through this in the work session. There are a lot of details within the presentation itself. Commissioners have asked for a breakdown of what it will look in the power bills and the good, and we have included that in the presentation. What to indicate what page number that is in your board book. But what I've to make it, I thought do is just go with an abbreviated presentation just to bring everyone
Sure,
back,
go ahead.
and then we can go
Go
through
ahead,
all
John.
the details.
And I have a question after you go through that.
Yeah, because I did summarize what the total bill will look like for two different fuel oil scenarios. We did, I'm sorry, John K. and I. So again, phase 4 renewables, again, what does it do? It achieves working towards our renewable portfolio to achieve 50% renewable by 2035. Our target is 2030. We're looking at somewhere around the 28, 29, we could achieve that with this award of this contract. Again, it benefits the Gpwa and its ratepayers because again, for so long we had no control as to how fuel oil prices was going to impact. Look at the days of when we just came from 31 cents a kilowatt hour for LEAC, bringing our pricing all the way up to 40 cents a kilowatt hour. Now again, so now we're at 26 cents and heading south, but more importantly, we won't head south until we get Okudu. But this, in combination of Okudu, is going to get us to achieve getting low-cost energy on the island, affordable energy on a sustained basis. We can't have one part of the year is down and the other part is way up. No? What will it also do? It will reduce our fuel oil prices. Again, it's continued to rise and fluctuate. Ultra-low sulfur diesel prices have gone up to about over $150 a barrel, as much as $186 a barrel in 2022. So this is not, and this is something that could have been, most especially in the future, as I would note why. Again, part of it is we can control fuel prices, but we can reduce the consumption. As you will see here, we're burning about 3 million barrels a year. Okudu will drop down about by 879,000 barrels, and phase 4, if awarded in its entirety, will drop it another 800,000 barrels. So we'll be down from 3 million barrels a day in 2028, 2029 to about 1.3 or 1.4
A year.
1.4 a year and heading south. No? So again, it's right here. So as we had always noted, there's a major paradigm shift in the way we generate energy, and most importantly, what is our fuel source? The fossil fuel, energy from the sun, or energy from something else. No? Next. The award of phase 4 will provide an excellent hedge against high fuel oil prices. I will show you what happens to the power bill when that goes. Power purchase agreements provide value to larger tracts of land on the island that otherwise would not have been used. It requires a lot of grading and everything, but it puts value to those assets at this point in time, and of course helps the ratepayers. T&D infrastructure upgrade, whenever you put in a renewable project, you upgrade the lines, and most especially in this particular project of Kepco, you're upgrading the 115 kV line. That would allow others, larger tracts of land within the within the routing to be able to work in with less infrastructure, which means lower renewable costs potentially in some areas in the future. Energy storage batteries we require to shift from daytime to the evening. We can't have the duck curve anymore. We have to start, shaving it, and the only way to get to 50% 100 is catch that energy and bring it to the evening hours and so on. So energy storage batteries does that. No? And each of the project here have to supply 50% have to have batteries to carry 50% of the energy from the daytime to the evening time. No? Next. Energy storage systems provide capacity to meet peak. As you can see now, military is wanting to grow from 40 megawatts to 100 megawatts by 2033. The community is going to have to grow with that to support that need, no? And so therefore show you that even despite all of this growth with the batteries of phase 4 and the conventional units, we'll be able to meet the load growth that is coming, that is facing us in the near future. In addition to that, it will start to allow us to retire older units. Now we will start aging into the 40-year-old period. Without them, we can retire units today, not like we were thinking earlier several years ago, but several years ago we weren't faced with the low growth that we are seeing today, and again, it's being more and more confirmed, no? And again, why we have to be prepared to respond to the threats in the Indo-Pacific, no? How do you be responsive? You have to have what you call it, a very diversified series of supplies. So therefore, if something happens in one area, you can shift the energy around. No? So again, that provides us with energy storage batteries in many different sites, and we have the opportunity to serve our community. And again, part of it is 50% of the energy is there in case there's a blockage of a blockade of fuel oil or whatever. We can store up with more tanks for less fuel. And energy from the sun, we can put those energy right to the. So again, our intention and request is really to, if all of the proponents of phase 4 comply with the system impact study after it's completed, and had no increased price, we will be bringing them one at a time, whoever's ready to the commission and the PUC for your approval. But this is more like to say phase A, which is the two big projects that are basically ready. Some additional negotiations and stuff are in the works, but really we have a benchmark for any contract that we will sign. No? Next. So what happens in terms of capacity? As you can see here, here's without phase 4, with phase 4. Right now, without phase 4, even in 2028, looking at the capacity that is going to grow, we're still going to be short about 36 megawatt. Adding the 44 megawatts that the military is looking at, and looking at 30 megawatts growth within the community. So therefore, we're going to still be short if we start retiring other units. But with phase 4, not only can we take the additional 70-some megawatts, but still have 137 megawatts left in capacity to meet additional load growth beyond 2033, but also to retire other units at that time to reduce costs for ratepayers. No? So again, it provides us an excellent opportunity to, again, it'd be nice to not have load shedding, no? So that's how I see this, the red versus never mind red already. Next. So my recommendation again is really the initial award of the two proposals for 192 megawatt, which has battery capacity of 97 megawatt. That means that's the power within it, and in that it carries 380 megawatts of energy, so that you can divvy up whether at 97 megawatts or half of for 4 hours, or half of that for 8 hours, or a third for more hours. See? So it's like another generator that you can release the energy as you need to. And again, that again provides to reliability, resiliency, flexibility, and many things that will help us. So again, the remaining proponent we will come bring to you one at a time as we go through over the next several months here, as that all those things get completed. What would that do? Again, this is a major hits against LEAC. Remember, 31 cents. That's the highest LEAC. You had the base rate of about 10 there, that we were at 41 cents. Still the lowest in the Pacific area, but no consolation to our ratepayers. This will keep it below around the 20 cents a kilowatt for the same scenarios that we just went through. You know, just imagine that 11 cents times 1,000 kilowatt, that's $100 some a month. That's about what you're getting in the energy credit, no? With all the stuff. Again, reliability, because batteries are very reliable. Resiliency, because we have so many of it and has capacity, and that will be great for everyone, no? And again, like I said, you'll meet the load growth and allow us to retire older legacy units, no? That have been around. Next. So, I did work it out on the cents per kilowatt hour, what the LEAC may be at $100 a barrel, 120, 150, 175. At close to 120, you're paying a little bit on the hedging, maybe around 1 to 2%, which I will show on the bill, right? But what happens then if oil goes to 150? You reverse. Now you're keeping it down, you're saving, and if it goes even higher than that, then your savings will go up to like what I see here, as much as 3 cents a kilowatt hour. So again, it provides all those capacity, reliability, and all of that, and it's really affordable. It's really almost insignificant, no? Next. So the question about power bills. So the CFO was hard at work figuring out what will the power rate total bill will be for all the different rate classes. We have these scenarios. The first scenario is what would happen from the current bill of 26 cents to about a bill with Okudu coming on the line. As you can see, all the different rates will show a saving somewhere around 25% on the total bill. I don't have the percentage right in front of me, but it's in the package there.
27.6.
Yeah, and in the individual one, no? Even government of Guam would drop, look at that, from 234 to 192 and everything, no?
Let me ask you a question. So I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. So when Ukudu comes online, you're saying there's going to be a savings right away.
That's the savings right there. And that's already saving, making adjustment for the payment of the Ukudu contract.
Okay. Now, John, just a reminder, you have to remember that LEAC is every 6 months. There's an adjustment period, so you have basically a continuing rate case on LEAC. It goes on forever and ever,
Right.
because it goes up and down.
Right.
But your base rate, you have to file a base rate case. So you're
That's-
gonna have to file a base rate case
For the Ukudu power plant coming online,
That's
to
good.
increase that base rate while you're waiting for the LEAC, the next LEAC period,
That's right.
okay?
So we're
No, I'm just saying,
you're
just
correct,
caution.
and we're working with it so that the timing really comes when the savings are coming in. No?
Yeah.
And
Now,
again,
but John, the savings are gonna come principally
Next year.
because Ukudu is more efficient,
Yep.
right?
Right.
But you're still gonna be running 8 and 9, right?
That's right. On a
And-
limited,
and-
8 and 9 will go from running 80% of the time down to about 15% of the time.
Okay, but just remember, when you do that,
Yeah.
their efficiency goes out the window. Yeah, 8 and 9 are efficient when they're running at their capacity.
Right.
When you run a machine like 8 and 9 at 15%, their heat rate and everything goes right out the window, right?
Well,
I think you're
yes,
just running it less.
No, no,
you're
there's,
You're correct. It does. You lose some efficiency at the best, but really it's still the most efficient of all the others.
when you look at the other units, Sean,
Yeah.
you're right. If you could work to compare it to Dedido 1 and 2,
Yep,
they're
yep.
still more efficient. But what I'm saying is, you are going to be burning oil and the heat rate. Okay, never mind, John, it's okay.
No, no, you're correct, Mr. Chair. You're correct, and
Okay.
these numbers reflect that.
Okay.
So I already calculated the change in production. You're correct, yes, when you're, 8 and 9 who has been running at the most efficient stage will reduce its efficiency somewhat as you're running the other one. That's giving you a lot more kilowatt hours. For example, 20 at Ukudu versus 15 at MEC.
Yeah,
And
right.
like you're saying, like all the other reserve units are giving us maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 and a half and 12. Huge difference. No?
Okay.
So here, so again, as you can see, the second with the bill, Ukudu coming down, there's a significant change, but then you start to see it go up a little bit at a time, as you see here. And why is that? Because now you've already maxed out Ukudu running at 80% capacity factor, and now you have all this additional growth that's coming. You're now generating from the first 8 and 9, and then second the reserve unit. So your cost will start to go up because you're using less efficient units. Not like where we are today, certainly, but it would start escalating up. And then when phase 4 renewables come on at $120, there's still like a 2% hedging that occurs here. When it does come around 150 or so, then now you're saving 2, 3, 4 more percent the ratepayers. You're not and that's kind of the savings is coming at a time when everything is difficult to pay, right? You're paying high, so you're saving. So it does mean a lot in terms of that. So this is the hedge. Anything over that, I didn't do the 175 or 200, but these numbers will again substantially increase. No?
John, it's a good picture, and long term, you're going through a little transition phase. That's one of the things I want to make sure our ratepayers understand.
Good.
That Ukudu coming online first, there's some changes, there's some benefits. The real benefits don't really mature until the phase 4 start to come online. Because then you get the benefits of the efficiency of Ukudu, and you get the benefits of the solar power at a lower rate. And therefore, that combined really will help the system a lot.
Right.
I get that. I think it's a good plan. Just as long, I want to make sure people understand that there's going to be transitions. It's not from here to here.
Yep.
It's going through a process.
It's all happening within this decade. Now
Yeah,
that-
oh yeah,
that
no,
we
it's
can
about
say,
3 to
right?
4 years. Yeah.
One more
Good.
scenario that we're working real hard to try and get is getting the grant for about 180 megawatts of centralized batteries. That way we can put more renewables on the line with less batteries. For a case in point, we can get these renewables that we're talking about, so we're somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 12 cents, because they'll have a battery but not a energy shifting battery.
Right, just the
The
intermittent.
centralized battery will do that, and that will do it at about 2 cents a kilowatt hour. So a huge-
Versus 7. on the-
yeah, versus this 5 to 7.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
then,
a
the other
huge-
thing is, you're going to run Ukudu anyway.
That's
So
right.
that's more power going into those batteries.
Yeah,
And you can't curtail solar to keep Ukudu running. And
Yeah.
you don't want to curtail Ukudu to just got all the solar power. It's going to be a mixture, and then along with synchronous condensers, you have the best of both worlds, resiliency. I think it'll be a very good
yep.
cost factor
It's
for
all
our
happening
population.
within this.
Yeah, but it's a process. Now, it's like making anything else. We hope that all the solar projects. John, I think we get all of that.
Okay, next.
Do you have a lot more
No,
slides?
so
or-
that's my summary, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
and basically just what I mentioned.
Okay,
Again, the
okay.
award of the.
Commissioner
again,
Sanchez.
yeah.
John, keep that slide up, just thank you.
The one before this.
The one before with the summary, right? So the,
No,
Not that one.
Next.
Is that the one?
no, just the one, it had the
one
projected
with
total
the
bills for all
total
rate
bills.
classes, right? With and without.
No, the one next.
It was, yeah, it was
That one.
That one.
yeah, okay, so that's the one I'm looking at in our board book. So, I'm sorry, right now we are paying 120 a barrel, 150 a barrel?
Right now, you go ahead, sir.
Okay, and so what's nice? Right, what's good about this analysis? So 120 is what we're currently, roughly what we're paying, but you also analyze what would happen if unpredictable oil was at 150 a barrel, right? But if I'm reading this right, just correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm just gonna focus primarily on the residential class. God bless our businesses, but I think, most of our ratepayers are residential. And from our long experience, the average residential customer uses about 1,000 kilowatt hours, right? And so, right now, they're currently paying about, if they use 1,000 kilowatt hours, it's about $359, $360, right? Okay, and then when Ukudu comes on, in 2026, it's supposed to be online in 2025, but that's only 3 months. Are these calendar years, fiscal years? Or doesn't, these are annualized. These are what, kind of depending when it opens, right? Right, but once Ukudu is on, over the next 12 months, once Ukudu is fully online, right, then a bill that is currently $360 would actually drop almost $100 a month if I'm at 1,000 kilowatt hours, right? And assuming oil stays at 120, right? If oil went up to 150, it would drop only $60 a month, but it would still be a drop. And the reason the drop isn't as big as the chairman alluded to, oil went up. But as you've mentioned, the whole key to not being as victimized by the changing prices of oil is to use less oil. And between Ukudu dropping almost our oil imports by a third, and then the renewables that that we're planning to put online dropping yet another third, we're as the chairman says, we're well on our way with a good plan to reduce the overall cost of power while keeping the system reliable. But just correct me if I'm wrong, just sticking with residential, they're currently paying around $360 a month. When Ukudu comes on, given its fuel efficiency, and if oil stays the same price as it is today, 120 bucks a barrel, there would be a savings of about $100 a month for the average residential customer using 1,000 kilowatt hours, right? And then we're looking at a possibility of also awarding some significant renewable energy. When all those projects come online, the total bill would then, let's see, with Ukudu, with phase 4 renewables by 2029, the 266.55 doesn't seem to show a lot of change. Can you help me understand that a little bit?
Yeah, so the 2026 is the 260.
Right, that's the Ukudu, that's the key
Right.
one, that's the big one.
And then if you go to by 2029, just because you're having low growth, you're producing more energy now from everybody else. So therefore it went up a little bit. So there's a $6 change on that bill between 2026 and 2029. And with the renewables coming on, there's a $6 change between just the growth plus the renewables coming on the line by 2029.
But so if I'm reading this right, it's at $120 a barrel. It seems Ukudu creates the most savings, tangible savings immediately. I thought the renewables would save us some more because you're burning less fuel. So what?
The renewables is, yes, you're burning less fuel, but the whole
have to pay
thing
for
there
them.
is that it's really hedging against the 150. Because if you go to the 150, it will now go to
282.
yeah. From
Right, but that's if
Yeah.
the price of oil changes. But we're also changing the amount of oil we're consuming when we add renewables.
So the major benefits of the renewables between now and the time and only
2029.
sustaining price is the additional the reliability, capacity for growth, and all of that. So what happens with growth? And as we can see, the substantial. Oh, I told somebody substantial growth already, right? That brings in more revenue for the base rate. When you bring in more revenue for the base rate and you're not increasing your costs, then therefore there's an opportunity that now can be used to help your base rate come down.
Oh, that's right. Because also while Ukudu saves us fuel, we have to pay for the plant.
That's
for the
right.
CapEx, so the
also-
base
you
rate
also
will go up.
You also have to pay for the solar
growing
farms.
at 2%. That's substantial.
Right, but that's in the
That's a
LEAC.
huge
Yeah, that's- yeah, but
amount
that's
of
what I'm
additional
saying.
energy that we have to generate
Mhm.
between 26 and 29.
But the total bills are what you're looking at, which
Mhm.
includes the new LEAC.
Yeah.
So we're burning less oil because of Ukudu, but then you're paying for the solar farms also later on.
Right, but,
It's,
but they're costing only 11 to 17 cents versus 20,
yeah,
24 cents, 26 cents.
But
So
it's not that big
And
drop.
they'll stay there because it's only a 1% escalator. So
Right.
while everything else could be going up this way, this one is punching down 50% of the impact from fuel oil because it's your hedging. Eh? So it keeps your oil. So plus the added benefit of capacity, ability to retire other things, meet other growth and everything. So it's
but if I read this correctly, sorry, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, sure.
if I read this correctly, the biggest savings for ratepayers occurs when Ukudu comes online, right?
That's the first biggest
The
savings.
renewables help hedge against oil price changes, right? Because they're relatively
They're flat.
stable, flat, right? I mean, but I just expected more savings when you're cutting out another 800,000 barrels of oil, right?
Well, if we add, because we have a huge generation need, right? 100%. We only have Ukudu to handle 50% of it. So therefore, the rest of it is still running wild. Eh?
On the convention, on the ones we have now,
That's right.
8 and
We're not
9.
adding any more an additional Ukudu, right? So therefore, our alternative is adding renewables. So the first phase is adding renewables with battery, which is almost paying again for a little conventional unit because the battery are costing 5 to 7 cents. Otherwise, if you take 5 to 7 cents and just put in the renewable, then you will have substantial savings. But the problem is that we're gonna have to shut down Ukudu, or it's just not reliable. So
You
so
can't
the
curtail
next
one
phase,
side for
the
this.
next phase with economies of scale of a battery system to help catch additional, then all the other renewables will come in at a cheaper price, not with low energy shifting battery. Then the savings will begin to build up again on renewables. You see renewables reversing the trend.
Okay, so related to this, we also are still hoping, and I was gonna ask both of you if we are still on track. We know we have been recovering higher LEACs that were not charged during the COVID, where we fronted $48 million. And my recollection is that the expectation, as long as oil continues to remain in the $120 range, is by the next LEAC in February, we could see a reduction in the current LEAC, right? Because we have recovered that amount. Are these projections that you're showing us, 24, 29, are they beginning with the lower LEAC of next February, or are they at the current LEAC?
For this analysis, we're just showing as of existing LEAC, which is 26 cents.
Right.
Yes. When February comes in, the LEAC, because we got recover all our under recoveries,
Right.
then the LEAC will go down. So
Right. But John is, estimating average bill, so, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, then between 24 and 26, the hope for reduction of LEAC, because we will have recovered our under recovery by next February, is already factored into the 26 price? Because by February 25, it is our hope, if oil doesn't get silly, that we can lower the LEAC simply because we have recovered the under recovery that occurred during COVID.
That's correct, because we're starting with what is it like today, right? And so in my analysis, you'll see where it was 21 or 22 or so. And that considers it with already a LEAC reduction, no? But this one is showing what is your bill today, right? What will it be like when Ukudu comes on? What would it be like if we don't put in more renewables? And what is it if we put in phase 4 renewables?
So it appears to me then that the other way to look at this is, with Ukudu and the renewables coming on, the $100 a month potential average savings is something we can sort of
Sustain.
right?
That's right.
All right, that,
Affordable energy on a sustained basis.
Yeah.
Otherwise, up and down, we're still controlled by fuel oil prices.
which is
And getting away from it and only impacting us at
Yeah,
50%. And as we put in more renewables, then that animal starts to really go away.
right, and then I'm noticing if oil did go badly, you know, it jumps up to $296. The bill actually, instead of going down $100, only goes down $65
I
a
think,
month.
But
John,
if you look
John
at the
Kim,
prices across, right, you're going from 260 to 266. See?
Yeah,
It's just-
so it's relatively stable from once
Relatively
Ukudu and is on, there's a big reduction. And then when the phase 4 is online, well, even though, as the chairman reminds us, we have to pay for the solar farms, right? And we will have had to raise the base rate to pay for Ukudu. The total bill offsets those increases because of the amount of, because we're burning so much less oil.
And
Mr.
knowing
Sanchez,
that
there's,
and knowing that there's growth, you don't want to be short of capacity again, right? And this is what the batteries and everything give us.
But, and we're gonna have to pay for that, right, right.
John,
Yeah.
okay. John Kim, I think, Commissioner Sanchez, you have to understand one thing. The REAC rate is set based on the cost per barrel, right?
Yes.
It's not set on consumption. So in other words, when you get to February of next year, depending on the price of oil, if the price of oil doesn't change, your REAC's not going to change very much, is it?
For next year, because we're the 26 cents we have right now includes the cost of fuel burning.
Plus
So-
your under recovery?
Yes.
Okay, so if you take out your under recovery,
Yes.
then the cost of fuel is still the same. That part doesn't go down.
No, I understand, but your
And-
under recovery goes down. How
Yeah,
much is
the
that
un-
supposed to be? 2
Okay.
cents?
About 2 cents.
Okay,
Okay,
2 cents.
no, no,
I'm with you.
no, so, but I want to be clear here, just, I want to make sure I get it right too. But so if it goes down from the 26 cents to 24, in February, it'll still be 24 cents.
Yes.
The benefit comes in because Ukudu will burn less fuel. So the 20, what did you say, 24 cents?
24.
Okay,
Estimated
so that
forecast.
24 cents, or whatever that number is, times a lower amount of consumption gives you a lower bill for everybody.
Well, I mean, but
Yeah.
we're staying with the average at 1,000.
No, I understand that, but what I'm trying to
So
say.
the consumption is gonna stay the same. Mrs. Cruz is still gonna burn 1,000, in our example. It's
Yeah,
still gonna
but-
burn 1,000 kilowatt hours.
Yeah, no, she's still gonna consume 1,000 kilowatt hours, but the price of the oil to provide that, the price of the oil, while the LEAC will stay the same, the amount of volume
Goes
that
down.
it will take will go down.
And that's where the
And that's
savings
where
is.
the savings come in.
Correct. Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Yes.
That's
I
my
get it.
understanding.
That's the way I understand.
Okay.
$80 a month.
So.
Yeah, if you burn less oil, your oil bill should go
Will go
down,
down.
regardless of what the price is. If you're
Regardless of what the
if you're
price is.
burning less
Yeah,
of it, you're gonna
it's
spend
like-
less on it.
it's like your
No,
car.
no different than a gas station.
Yeah, if you fill up your tank and it costs you $50, and you run a week and you need to fill it up again, then fine. But if you cut down the number of miles you drive, you're gonna be able to last longer on that tank of gas. Now, I have first off, we have a resolution before us. Before we make motions, I do have a question for our attorney. And this is something that came late into my mind. I apologize. Usually work sessions work real well because then I get these ideas, or everybody gets ideas. I just have a concern. I know we put out one procurement for solar and said, this is phase 4 solar. But we are allowing plenty of different bidders to submit bids. Would it be better if we had a separate resolution for each proponent? So that, one proponent would be A, one proponent would be B, instead of combining the two into one resolution? And if you want to think about it for a minute, go right ahead. I'm just saying, you have to have, you're going to be submitting, you've got a whole bunch of bidders, and this is just the first 2 bidders. You're going to be coming to us in the future, maybe, hopefully with more. Hopefully they all come in.
But what happens if they all don't come in? You won't bring them. Okay? But I'm just saying, would it be better? I want to make sure we don't have any legal pitfalls. You know, they're separate. If this one plant of this two pairing doesn't work, does that matter? Maybe it doesn't matter. I'm not sure. I'm just cautious like that. It came to, I started to think about it. Got a little worried. I'm just wanting a legal question.
It might be better that way. I mean, like, I don't see anything against her for it. It might be simpler to separate them, because each one can have its own resolution, if that's what you would prefer. We
Well,
can do that.
I'm just saying that to me would be a cleaner way. So, because as we do these, then we can bring one at a time before us, and they're, you know, nobody can say, well, you're judging me with him, or whatever. It's just perception. And if we want to, you could simply make a change on this current resolution, John, and have, your resolution number is,
Yeah, the issue I have here is that there are two different prices.
yeah, that's my point. They're two different prices.
No, but again,
Okay,
but
could,
you know, they choose to roll the higher one, not the lower.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
Becomes a
No,
whole
John,
mess.
John, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you have two proponents. They're not exactly the same. They're different sizes, they're different prices, a little bit. And I'm just saying, my thought would be if you did just simply redid the resolutions real quick and do a 29A and a 29B. You know, and we could vote on two separate ones.
I mean, you approve it tonight and then.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna approve it. Yeah,
We can separate that because the
Yeah.
resolution, most of the language is the same.
The same, it's the
just
same.
The price, no? So
Yeah.
we can separate the two, but again, the problem I have with that is still, for some reason, they just approve,
no, we're gonna approve both of them, John.
the higher one, no? I'm talking about, say, not only here, right? We go to the PUC and they approve the higher one and then didn't approve the lower one.
Well, see, John, that's what they could do. They could say, we can't approve the whole resolution because we would like the lower, I'm just arguing for arguing's sake. I'm trying to make it clean so that,
That's okay, yeah, I mean, fine, we can do that, then we just have to make it clear on the PUC side.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I was looking at the resolved, which is where the rubber meets the road legally. And it does separate it does identify the two awardees. You know, it's KEPCO, EWP, Samsung, C&T Consortium. That's one of the awardees, correct, John? Right? And then the other one is Cortex Solar Energy LLC. And then you use the phrase as required under the PUC procurement protocol. So there's a PUC procurement protocol that also guides how we approve this, how you're asking us to approve this process. So I think you raise a good point, but I think the way it's written, it's clear we're awarding two of them, and it's clear and to whom we are awarding the two bids, and then there's a reference to all the attached in the whereases that are all part of the resolution. So I think your concern is well made, but I think the language, if you took a look at it, is sufficient to, because it in effect it identifies the two awardees. Now, we could have one resolution for one awardee, and we could have the identical resolution for the other awardee, because the analysis is the same.
Yeah.
But as I read it, I maybe in the future we could
Maybe-
think about that, but I
Okay,
think this one is
okay,
good to go,
could
to
you
me.
go to the, I don't know what page it is. Hold on.
It's on page,
No, page 105, and look at the whereas.
Well, I'm looking
Sorry,
at it.
well, just go to the
Yeah.
whereas on line
Okay.
42,
okay,
and it goes down, and the table there says KEPCO, blah, 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 PVC capacity, BESS capacity, Cortec, PV capacity, the other capacity.
Yes.
Aggregate capacity, in other words, the two joint capacities.
right, but they're two separate
But they're two
projects.
separate, yeah, I know. I'm saying it's cleaner if you separate them out and just say, we're awarding this to this company for this capacity, period. I don't know. Listen, I'm fine.
I'm just saying, to me, I'm a cautious person. We lost a really great farm because it was protested. I'm just trying to make sure we cover all our bases. But I'm fine, if our lawyers, John, if you and our lawyers say this is good, I'm good to go.
And,
I'm fine with it. We'll
and,
do it.
I think your suggestion is well noted, Mr. Chair, most especially with the balance of the renewables. That
John, if you want to do
make
this way, we'll do it this way.
Yeah, I think
And if
fine
so-
with
I'm
this
gonna pray that
unless
nothing
there's any-
happens, but-
Well, and you've put on the record your concern,
No,
which
just
I
have a
think is
concern,
perfect.
but I'm just,
I mean-
I have concern because you're lumping them together in one resolution, and on this whereas clause, you kind of lump them together. You say the aggregate capacity of these two projects is, and, well, what happens if one project does it? Never mind, it begs questions, but, John, if you're fine with
I'll
this,
defer to
no, we'll
our
be
team,
fine.
Whatever they think.
No, let's go. Motion, anybody want to make a motion to approve the resolution as written? Motion? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move to approve Resolution 2429 relative to the approval of the Phase 4 Renewable Energy Acquisition Award to Kepco EWP Samsung C&T Consortium, that's one company, and Cortex Solar Energy LLC for up to 192 megawatts of renewable energy capacity. That's my motion.
Second? Further discussion?
Yes,
Oh,
so
go ahead.
just one question. So we take care of this two here now, and so the others comes in and come around, are we gonna lump sum it or put it together on this type of resolution, or are we gonna?
There'll be individual resolutions as suggested by the chairman. We'll put it into individual, even though they're all ready, we can do it all.
And these are the largest ones
These are the two
that were
largest
bid,
Well,
that were
there's,
bid.
yeah, there's a third one that's kind of big.
There's one other 60.
Mojave?
Mojave.
But you're waiting for the technical.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that already,
but
but
these are-
there's
yeah,
three
these
big
are-
ones and the rest are all small.
These are the largest and the second largest, one that's, or the two second largest.
Okay,
Good
so
discussion, Mr. Chairman.
are we ready for the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Michael, are
Aye.
you voting? Okay, so we have 3 ayes in the room, and the 4th aye is coming from online, Commissioner Dimchalco. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
One last resolution, FY 2024-30. Again, this is related to approval for the repair and overhaul of the Erodi power plant. Through our agreement with the DOD, they've asked us if we can work with Chile to get the Erodi power plant is 3 6-megawatt units, and they are in need of help in getting those repaired. Right now, they did get 2 repaired. Again, how well it has to be made more reliable, and they've been helping us with the avoid load shedding whenever we need it. So this is a good thing that will provide additional conventional capacity, not only to service the base itself, which takes away, which again allows us capacity to serve others.
Other load. And they're and the
And
Navy
this is fully reimbursable.
from the Navy. So we're just helping them procure these gens,
That's
right?
right, and getting the work done.
Okay. No, we do the work, we do the work, and we help them procure.
We'll contract with it, and we'll make sure that they get
Okay.
the work.
Okay.
We'll coordinate all the activities and scope of work.
Okay.
And this is based, John, on our current customer supplier agreement? Yeah?
The new customers, right?
Service agreement that we have with the Navy to basically
Okay.
share our
Is that part of
resources.
the best, of the customer service agreement or no?
Um,
Just a question, by the way, I'm just asking. And if you're not sure,
I believe it's a separate agreement, sir.
Okay.
That's
USC,
signed.
yes,
okay, no problem. Okay. Motion?
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
No.
I thought, no.
No, no,
I
no.
apologize, Mr. Chairman.
I'm done. Motion? Anybody want to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve GPA Resolution FY 2430 relative to the approval of the repair and overhaul of the Erodi power plant.
Okay. Second. Okay, any further discussion? None? Michael, do you have any questions?
No questions, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Approve. Nay? Aye. We have 4 ayes, 3 in the room, and Michael, Commissioner Mchalko online. Okay?
Last
John, is
but
that
not
it?
least, I will leave the GM report with you, so that if
Yeah.
there's any specific questions that
No,
you
no.
may have at this point.
Okay. You want to take a 5-minute break while we move our teams around?
I do want to note that we've had the highest peak the first time in 5 to 7 years. Last week or so, 267 megawatts. And load and growth has been occurring.
John,
in the
there's no
past
doubting,
12
we're going to
months.
grow. Yeah,
It's coming.
that's where the military comes in. I'm just going to, okay. Guys, while we switch. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Go straight to the resolutions. The first is 25 FY 2024. As I explained in the work session, this is seeking approval of a design service contract for the Gilbreeze Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Project. Again, this is a negotiated contract at $3.396 million with the standard 10% contingency for a total authorized amount requested of $3.735 million. Will be, as I explained, using US EPA grant funding to correct the infrastructure issues at the Gilbreeze subdivision in Jigo. And the contract is intended to be awarded to the most qualified proponent for RFP 01 ENG-2024, Duenas Camacho and Associates.
Okay. Motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve GWA Resolution 25 FY24 relative to the approval of design service contract for the Gilbreeze Subdivision Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Project, GWA project number 22401.
Second. Any questions?
No, this
I
solves
just-
this
I
solves
just
a
have-
long-standing problem, and US EPA will fund it, right? It's not, not ratepayer funding.
And I just want to comment that this shouldn't happen like this. This is
I'm hoping that we get to a day when we do things the right way. This was done the wrong way, but we're cleaning up a mess, that's my point. That's not our mess.
We actually prevented it from being done
Well,
the wrong way.
the wrong way,
And now
Now we have to
our
finish
team-
the job.
Our
that
team has figured
never-
out a way to solve
So,
it with,
yeah.
and not use ratepayer money.
Yeah,
And
and
EPA is,
thankfully, we're not using ratepayer money for this part, the design. Hopefully EPA follows through with the whole rest of the funding for the project. Because this is just a design phase, right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, Michael?
No questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All those in favor of Resolution 25-FY 2024, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
There are 3 ayes in the room and Commissioner Chalcom's aye online. Okay, next one.
Next, Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
I'm sorry. Yes, you want?
oh, no, I was gonna make the motion.
Okay, go ahead.
But, go ahead.
The next on the agenda is Resolution 31 FY 2024, seeking an amendment to our FY 2024 O&M budget, specifically for an increase by $5 million to cover the increase in Navy water costs. The approved budget at about $6 million. We anticipate will end up being 15.6 million by the end of the fiscal year. And we have some internal transfers from other cost categories that we can use, but we're seeking an additional 5 million in authorized expenses for the 2024 O&M budget, bringing the total from 79.7 million to 84.7 million. We need this to cover all of the 24 expenses projected up to the end of September of this year.
Okay. Is there, Commissioner Sanchez?
Yeah, so, did I make the motion already?
No, that's all.
Okay, I move to approve GWA Resolution 31 FY 24, relative to approving the FY 24 budget amendments.
Second.
As,
Oh, sorry. Any
as our,
questions?
as our GM points out, this is the result of unexpected significant increase in the amount that the Navy is now charging for water that we purchase from them. And correct me if I'm wrong, Miguel, it's the average annual increase has been about 6 million, and now it's projected to go up on a full 12-month basis to 15.7 million, about 9.7 million, if I'm reading. Am I doing that correctly?
Yeah, for the numbers that are in the,
Yeah, I'm taking that.
in the resolution, we budgeted about 6 million for this year, total Navy water purchases. And we anticipate, based on the current and increased pricing, that we will finish the year out closer to 15. So that's
And then,
anticipated increase for fiscal year 24.
and then, and please correct me if I'm wrong, during the work session, I know, or I believe that some of the ways you're able to cover this significant increase, I saw 2.1 million in revenue that came in more than we had projected a year ago or so. So some of that was just revenue growth. That's a couple of million. And then we're taking 950-ish or something, 975 out of the rate stabilization fund. And then we had a nice bump in interest income. You know, the disappointing part for me is just that that's money that I'm sure Miguel and Talling had other plans for. And I hope that we would explore the possibility of meeting with the Navy and
We've
seeing-
asked for, just for the record, we asked right away for an appointment.
Oh,
We
great.
went through different channels. We went through our One Guam channel. We went through the governor's office. We went through,
Community Defense Liaison Office, which is part of the governor's office.
yeah. So we reached out to everybody. We haven't gotten a response. I mean, you ask for an appointment. You can't demand one. And you can't say, on this day, I'm going to meet with you. So we're waiting.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm with you. I hope on the goodwill of the Navy. The last time this happened, they did eventually meet with the leadership of GWA and reconsidered. And you know, we understand things change, but the magnitude of the change is extremely significant, and as we discussed
I
in
think
the,
the biggest problem for me is the fact that we really don't get to see why the change occurred.
correct.
We don't participate in that
Well,
process.
and for me, it's just, I mean, whatever the change is, you know, we have changes too, but I guess the analogy I would use is if the Department of Defense went to the Congress and say, can we have a 160% increase in our budget over the next 4 months? I'm sure even the Congress would say, what the heck, right? And so I think we've gone very much on record publicly that this is very concerning for us and our ratepayers, and whom we represent. And we were successful before, and I'm glad to hear that you
have reached out.
and Miguel
Not just one way.
are trying a process that we tried before to see if we can get the Navy to reconsider this, because this was not in our 5-year rate plan, the latest 5-year rate plan. This size of an increase was not contemplated in our new 5-year rate plan,
Nobody
correct?
contemplated this.
These increases were not included in our as-filed 5-year rate plan, which was submitted to the PUC in early June.
Right. And so when I go to Exhibit A in the work that Miguel has provided to us, I noticed our debt service coverage of 1.443 in 2023 plummets to 1.289. And Commissioner Duenas, you and I have been in this business a long time. That's got to be the lowest debt service coverage I have ever seen.
Commissioner Sanchez, you are right. And boy, I tell you, just miss the good old days when we used to set the debt service coverage at 1.5. Do you remember those days?
I do.
And for the record, GWA's never had a 1.5 debt service coverage.
Right.
Dang,
But we were never close to this. I don't know if it's 1.25 or 1.2. You know, we've never been this
No,
close
you're
to
right. And
the
you know,
threshold.
Commissioner Sanchez, that's why in 2016, on March 2016, when I was arguing for the PUC to build that new Okudu power plant that we're now getting so excited about, I said, we're not going to raise the rates. Because the debt service coverage for GPA at the time was like 1.8% of debt service coverage. Because we set it so high. We gave them a cushion. GWA doesn't have that cushion.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Right.
I digress. I'm sorry.
Well,
This
and-
is, frustration on my part
Yeah.
because I remember when you and I were on the PUC, we didn't set their rates at 1.25.
Right.
We didn't set it at 1.35. We set it at 1.5 or 1.75. We tried to give them breathing room.
Right.
No such love for GWA, but that's okay.
Yeah, so, and we talk about One Guam, we talk about working together, and to
Well,
have,
and,
to
the
have
consultants
the
have
Navy
changed or whatever.
just come
It's
in
good.
and do this.
Anyway.
I'm glad to hear that you've reached out to a number of different players, and you're attempting to
We're
see
trying
the
to see.
Department of Defense and protest the way that this
I
was
think they
handled.
already know our protest. They've seen it, they've heard it, but
Well, I'm
Yeah,
sure you and
well,
Miguel will articulate it even better.
If
And-
we
and-
get a
and
chance.
I mean, the numbers are in the board books, you can see that $10 million jump in cost that eventually has to come from somewhere, because Miguel is sacrificing monies that he might have used elsewhere. This 2.1 million might have been used to reduce our original 5-year plan by $2 million, right? And then the other concern is that, that's the rabbit you're pulling out of your hat this fiscal year. Next fiscal year, this price is still gonna be there. And so, I didn't know I know we had talked about it, Miguel, I didn't know if you had the time, but, is there an analysis of how much higher the 5-year rate plan that we did previously approve would have to go if this increase from the Navy stays in place? I didn't know if you had time to prepare that.
We do have some analysis, which we will present along with the
an update.
stipulation and the update in executive session.
Okay, is it premature to at least have the rate, potential rate impact discussed? Or not yet?
Commissioner Sanchez.
I mean, the rate impact is just, that's a mathematical calculation.
And
It's not.
we've
it's
already
not-
identified that, and see,
Well,
I
not the
think,
rate increase.
that's the rate increase.
No, the dollar amount. I was
The
curious.
dollar amount
Is
is
10, is gonna be
for fiscal year '25, the projected increase in the dollar amount over what we filed in early June is 7.075 million.
And how much higher would rates have to go if the Navy doesn't work with us on that increase? Were you able to do that analysis?
We don't have that analysis for the as filed plan.
Okay.
We have it for the current plan that we're trying to
Negotiating.
Okay.
But it's, the impact is 7.075, 7.075 million on,
On the as-filed plan,
on the asphalt plan over revenues. Of 151 million.
So the rough math is 4 to 5%. An additional 4 to 5% increase in rates would be required to give you 7 million out of 150. 4% of 150 is 6 million. So 4.5%, something like that. So simply for the ratepayer that may or may not be listening,
For that 1 year.
for the FY 25,
If you
right?
apply it in that year and you get that revenue in subsequent years from that raise,
Then you cover.
and you're holding it constant, there is no further
Correct, but the
impact in the subsequent years.
but the rate, the aggregate rate increase that we did file was 69% over 5 years. Okay, thank you.
71.5% over the 5 years.
71.5 over 5 years. Would that go up
But
to
the
75%?
first year's rate as filed was 29% increase projected.
Right.
So if we were to add that additional 7 million, it would be the projected 4.5% on top of the 29%, just on a
from-
straight revenue basis.
Just on a rough, straight mathematical calculations, the 29 would be closer to 33, right? Would be forcing us to
For that
petition
1 year.
for that 1 year, and then it would stay at, well, and then that 4% stays throughout the life of the remaining 4 years. So
There would be no further impact to the rate increase.
unless they raise it thereafter, right, and then you tackle it on a year-by-year basis. But, so that's the number, right? We have petitioned the PUC, and they are evaluating a 5-year rate plan that starts next fiscal year, if it's approved, with a 29% adjustment. But that may have to go up another 4% to 33%, rough math, right? Not subject to all the calculations you're doing with the PUC and their consultants.
Correct.
Right?
As we filed it on June 8th. Recall that
The file plan.
there has been a lot that has occurred since then, including the approval and establishment under public law of our tax-exempt commercial paper program. So those potential reductions that we
Savings.
talked about have been worked into the latest version of the rate application model, which we are currently trying to stipulate.
But the TECP was in our 5-year plan.
The
The use of TECP was in, that's how you were able to reduce it to 70.
No. 71.5% is using only traditional bond funding, because we didn't have the authority to use tax.
It wasn't passed
And
on.
then the TECP allows us to get it down to another 2.
When we presented it as a concept, it was 50-some percent total.
So, I mean, that's why, it was a nice tool because it has the potential of dropping a 70 to 57, but now we have this 4% impact that I guess comes on, it starts on the 70, right? It now makes it 74, TECP now drops. I mean, the bottom line is, it appears, correct me if I'm wrong, that the impact of this increase is the potential to force us to petition for higher rates with the PUC, estimated to be.
No,
Well,
we have a rate, Commissioner Sanchez, please, we have a rate case already going. We're not going to change anything.
No,
Could-
but in subsequent true-up years, if this remains in place, we have the potential impact. Because when we did the 5-year plan, we made projections, right? And it didn't include,
Yeah.
an $8 million a year.
Mr. Sanchez, can and we,
Well, I'm just trying to make sure I understand. When we filed the five-year rate plan, which is always subject to true-ups, right? And that's what's before, that's what you're negotiating with the consultants before the PUC has it, right? It didn't include, correct, I mean, it did not include an $8 million
You're right.
annual increase,
The
correct?
The June as-filed version of the rate application did not include the additional Navy water expenses.
Okay, good. So, but now that it is before us, subject to hopeful discussions that you and the chairman may have with them, if we're not successful, we have to deal with something we were not aware of in June when we filed originally, of the potential for another $9 million a year increase in Navy water costs.
you're right, and we will deal with it in the rate-making process. Okay?
I get it. I'm just trying to get the math right. It's-
Yeah, you got the math right.
Okay,
It's
okay.
4 million,
And-
it's
and-
a
and-
4% increase.
and Miguel,
It's
that's-
$8 million. We know it's it's the federal government's fault because they're the ones who did it. to
Those
us.
are your words.
Okay, no, that's
I just
okay.
wanted the math.
So you got the math. Can we
Okay.
move on, please? That's all I'm asking.
I will. I got the 8 million and I got the 4%, and now we may move on. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
If there's no other questions, call for the vote? Okay. All those in favor of voting for the resolution signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay?
Aye.
Okay, so we have 3 ayes and 1 online for Commissioner Msako.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our last resolution for your action tonight is 32-FY 2024, and this is seeking approval of an interim first quarter FY 2025 O&M budget. Just to provide the first 3 months so we can proceed with loading the budget into our financial management system while we wait for action from the Public Utilities Commission on our 5-year rate case. Would be a rollover of the approved fiscal 2024 budget, adjusted for the increased Navy water costs and other expenditures. And so we are seeking approval of a first quarter budget of 32.98 million net of bad debt. Our operating expenses are projected at 21.3 million for the first 3 months, and this would result in meeting the minimum debt service coverage requirement of 1.25 times. This interim budget would be effective October 1st. We are hopeful that the PUC will act on our rate case on September 24th of this year. And if that does occur, then we will bring the approved rate increases and an updated budget to you following the action.
Okay. Any motion?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Resolution, move to approve, resolution 32-FY 2024, relative to approving an interim first quarter FY 2025 operation and maintenance budget.
Second? Any further questions? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Okay. There are 3 ayes in the room and Commissioner Chaco online. Motion is adopted. That's it. We have an executive, do you have something else, Miguel?
No, we already gave the management report.
Okay. We have an executive session, so maybe we could take a 5-minute break? No, I'm sorry. I need a motion to rise up and go into executive session.
I move, Mr. Chairman, that we rise up from open session and move into executive session to discuss litigation.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Michael? Motion carries. Miguel, the floor is yours. Same people are. Sure.